What is going on YouTube? It's Chris. We are actually in the shed tonight because I didn't just call it Captain's Quarters, but we just call it the shed. So the plan of attack tonight is, if you've clicked on this video, you've seen that I'm going to 3D print my new project car. And you're absolutely right, I am. But it's probably not the sort of project car you're thinking. So when I said I was going to 3D print my next project car, I absolutely am. But it's not going to be the size of the project car you're thinking. From a project car point of view, you may think that it could be, I've been to the car auctions and bought another car, which I absolutely haven't. You may think I bought one privately off Facebook, which I absolutely haven't. And you may think that I have been out and gumtreed it sort of thing and bought one, but I haven't. But when I said I was going to 3D print the project car, I am. But it's not going to be any sort of car that you normally think. I've wanted to do a project for a while, and due to the weather, it being freezing, wet, and freezing again, I've really struggled with the bikes. And as you know, with it being the back end of the year now, if you watch any of my content, I mostly try and do my bikes in the shed. But, well, the last few have been anyway. But it's just proved to be that little bit difficult. Try to film, get you decent angles and stuff. I've not been able to realistically do it. I did some work on the FSR today, but it was just Baltic. I managed about 3 minutes out there and it was freezing. I don't mind being cold, but when you know, you lose use of your hands, what you try to do becomes a bit difficult. So I'm going to do something a bit different. What I'm going to do is pretty much what the video title says. We're going to 3D print a project car. It isn't going to be a flipping Porsche or anything like that. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to 3D print an RC project car. I've wanted to do this for quite a while. I've been following some guys on Facebook and on the bamboo sites and things with regards to making project cars, and they're RC cars. So I think it sort of ties in with the channel. You know, we do beers, bikes and boosts, and this is just going to be sort of a deviation. So if you're here for the bike content, I'm so sorry, but for the next 3 to 5 weeks, probably you're not going to see any bike content from the channel, just because of the weather. And being able to do this in here makes filming things a lot easier. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to spin you around again, and you've probably been all over the place at the moment, you've probably got travel sick. And what we'll do is we'll actually discuss what we're going to do. So anyone who knows me and have been watching the videos for a while, they'll know that I've got quite a few 3D printers. I've got 3D printers here, I've got 3D printers there, and I've also got 3D printers over there. And what I thought would be quite cool to do would be to 3D print an RC car. So it's a little bit sort of like follows the channel, but it's, you know, it's just something a bit different. So I think what we'll do is I'll grab what I'm planning on doing, then we'll jump to the computer and we'll do a bit of a screen recording. I'll do a bit of a voiceover and just sort of explain what the plan is with it and what I'm going to do, how I'm going to source it, and how we're going to deal with the part and all that sort of stuff, you know. So I think what we'll do is we'll discuss what we're going to do printer wise and that. So for this project, I've decided, well, realistically, like 3D printers can print a multitude of things, being PLA, which is like this stuff, which is basic plastic, up to engineering grade materials, you know, like CF stuff and like carbon fibre. So what we're going to do is I'm going to print this project in what's called, you need to check now, I have picked up AS, is that ABS? ABS. Okay, so ABS, and I've used the Sunly brand because it was cheap on Amazon, being Black Friday. So we're going to try and print ABS, and it says that to print this correctly, you need to print bed temperatures between 80 to 100 centigrade, and print temperature is about 280 degrees, which is fecking hot. Right, so for this to work, we need a specific type of print. I actually just googled what ABS means, and it's acrylighting butanium serine. So if that means anything to you, then fucking let me know. Right, so printer we're going to use for this is, so properties and issues you've got printed with ABS is that it doesn't like temperature change. It doesn't like to rapidly cool. It doesn't like to rapidly heat up. If you do either of those, you suffer issues with like adhesion issues, like layer breaking away. So I've just printed this in ABS for another project I've got behind me. And if you like, you can see it's quite a strong material, ABS, and if you rapidly cool it, you get adhesion issues, which where the layers will come apart and it'll just become what's the word I'm called, structurally weak, which is not what we want, especially with an RC car. So we're going to use ABS, which is this bad boy here, and we're going to use you may have seen them before or not, an enclosed bamboo printer. So I'm going to use this enclosed bamboo printer, which is a P1S. I'm not going to go into details with it, but it is going to be enclosed to get the temperatures up, because the rest of my printers are all open. So in the back over here, we've got that one over there is a Bedslinger Cobra 3 Sovol SV08. We'll do some work on that this week. Plan to work on that. And then we've got bamboo P1S and the P1P. P1Ps are on offer at the moment if you want to go and check them out. It's like, I think like 320 quid or something. Decent printers. But anyway, we're not here to discuss 3D printers, we're here to discuss this car. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump to the computer now, and I'll screen record, over talk it, and just show you what car we're going to use and where I found the model. And then we'll jump back to the bamboo slicer, bit of a chat about that, and then I'll start printing, we'll end the video, and then we'll pick up when we've got all the parts here and all printed. Okay, so we're back now. We're going to jump onto the computer. I'll jump down into the corner, and I'll have a bit of a chat. So let's just move the camera so I actually look like I'm in the shot. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Right, so we're going to do the tarmac tarmac RC car. Okay, it's a 1/10 scale 3D printed RC car, and it's fully printed. Okay, I'm going to totally 3D print the whole car on the bamboo P1S. We're going to use ABS, as we said, just for the rigidity, and it's a bit strong. So like I said, we've got ABS here, and it's quite, he says, he just snapped it, but in general it is quite strong. Yeah, we'll edit that bit out. Bollocks. But anyway, so on the printer, so as you can see from this, so to find this file, if you use the URL at the top, I'll link it in the description below, to be fair. You go to printables and look for the actual file that you're going to use. Okay, so the tarmac, yeah, it's pronounced tarmac. So it's a 3D printed RC car, totally 3D printed, and as you can see now, I'm just literally going to scroll down, and it gives you all the parts, from the drive gears down to the chassis, down to everything. Okay, so it's a good bit of kit. Okay, so I've done a bit of research on this, and it reckons it can go to about 30 miles an hour, which I think is quite cool. So we're going to fully 3D print this car in ABS using the bamboo P1S. So I'm still, as you can see, I'm still scrolling, and there is just stacks and stacks of files. Okay, it also gives you the manual at the bottom. Good thing with the manual is, so we'll quickly hit the download link here, is, and we've just gone into it, is that it gives you a link to the parts on AliExpress. Now, I think I've pretty much got all the bolts and everything that it needs for this, but obviously I've not got the electrics and the RC stuff with regards to the receiver and all that sort of good stuff. So what we'll do is we'll quickly just jump, it's to be repeating on me now, and to the parts basically. So obviously you need shocks, tyres and a belt. For the electrics, really, is you need an you need the motor, and you need a servo. That's for steering the car. Electronics parts, you need brushless ESC. You need a programmable card. I don't know what that says. It's optional. I'm not sure about that. You need so it's saying the battery runs on 2S. I think we're going to try and run it on 3 and 4S, just to see if we can make it blow up. we also need a controller, which I've got somewhere. I've got one somewhere, we'll find it. And some other bits and bobs if we just roll down there, and then obviously it goes through how to assemble the diff, assemble the chassis, you know, and then you've got all the other sort of good bits, gearbox and all that sort of stuff, as I'm just scrolling through it now, so you get quite the gist of, you know, how to check the belt and all this sort of stuff. Like I say, I'm going to leave a link in the description to where you could actually physically go and find this. So what we'll do now is we'll quickly break, jump into Bamboo Studio, and I'll show you sort of how we're going to orchestrate, organise the parts and stuff, and send them to the printer. Then what we'll do is we'll probably sign off, and then the next video you'll see the parts will be here, the car will be printed, and then yeah, we'll start assembling it, so that'll be quite cool. But anyway, right, we'll jump to Bamboo and I'll show you how to import it and all that sort of stuff, and then I'll set the printer going, and we'll start printing, and I'll probably, hopefully, touch wood, next week we'll have all the parts printed ready to start putting together. So let's get to Bamboo. So this is a bit of a, so hopefully this voiceover syncs with what's on the screen. So we're in Bamboo now, and what we'll do is we'll open up the thing, the actual file structure of what you can see with regards to what files you'd get when you download the actual product from Trackmark. Trackmark, how it's pronounced, but anyway, so this thing comes in, I think it's 47 individual pieces. So what we're going to do is we're going to line the printer up. You have to excuse what's on the right hand side of the screen, ignore that because that's something else I'm currently working on. But so we'll put the chassis front, and can we do chassis front and rear? We'll open it as a project, and we don't want to save that. Right, so let's import these two and see what comes out. Oh, okay, yeah, cheers. Right, so two different parts. So one's the front side of the chassis, one's the rear. So what we need to do is we need to orchestrate this onto the bed. Let's see if we can work this round. Can we get two on the bed? Yes, that's the front and rear part of the chassis, which is nice. So let's have a look at so we're going to go into the left hand side here, the strength, and see what it's actually saying. So 15% infill. I don't think that's going to be enough. So the actual design doesn't give you I'm actually going to go for about 60%. This is going to bump the print time up, don't get me wrong, but it's going to make it a hell of a lot stronger. 60% infill, which is what, so when you go to infill, just give me 2 seconds. So when we're talking about infill, this was something I was trying to print before, is you see where it leaves the gap, or the camera's quite not great on this, and the gaps in between the actual lattice work you've got in there is what we call infill. So this is going to make it pretty much solid. So what we'll do is we'll hit the slice button, body's too close to exclusion area. Right, okay, let's have a look. Let's need to make this so it fits on the blade. Can I do it in 2 parts? I hope so. Shuffle that down. Slice that. Let's see what it gives us. So that's going to give us 4 hours. It's going to use 108 grams of filament, which isn't too bad. So what we're going to do is we'll let this printer finish doing the job it's doing. We'll send this to the printer, and yeah, what we'll do is we'll print the rest of the parts. So what we'll do is we'll add a few more beds, and we'll see how much, you know, what we're sort of looking at print wise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I think it's about 8 beds worth. We'll go to that. We're going to add the parts. So we need from 1 to 7. Add that onto that bed. You should import geometry only because you just want to see that. So that's going to give us 8 parts onto that bed. And what we'll do is we'll zoom in. We'll move these around just to separate them. Don't get me wrong, this is not the most efficient way of doing this. So that was 1 to 8. We've got the chassis, so we need 9. Do you know what? We'll just import them all. So we're just going to import every single part onto this bed. and we'll just have a look and see how it sits. And then what we'll do is we'll need to move them around and things to regards to moving around. Oh Jesus. I'm actually tempted to print this just to see what it looks like. Okay, so as you can see from the plates, there's 6 plates worth of printing, and I've just looked and it's roughly going to be about 29 hours worth of printing, and it's going to take roughly about 1.3 kilograms of filament. So let's order another one of these, and yeah. So jumping back to full screen, we will sort of going to wrap the video up here, because I've got the printer running doing some other jobs at the moment, but I'll start printing this, and the next video you'll see will be when this is all printed and ready to assemble with some electrical parts, which we've seen in the video. I did do a little bit of a price comparison across it from AliExpress. You're looking about 35 to 40 quid to make this, plus your filament. So you know, you're getting an RC car for about 55 to 60 pounds. It's pretty good. Like, what I'll do is I'll drop a link to the whatever it's pronounced, website on printables. I'll also drop a link to the YouTube video he's got of it running, and a link to the actual printables file. That'll give you all the information. If you choose you want to print this, you're probably going to print it faster than me, to be honest with you. But it's just a bit of fun. Let me know what you think about it in the videos, and in the comments. And always, peace out. Catch you next one.